Good afternoon, welcome. My name is Carl Miguel Deschamps. I will be your teacher for this session on cross-cultural management. It would be a lot easier for me if you could turn on your camera so I could see you. That would be most appreciated. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Go on. Yeah, very good. Excellent. Yeah, turn on those cameras so I can see you. That makes a difference for me. It means I'm teaching a group of people. I don't know where you are with a mask, but in front of me, it's okay. You can remove the mask. I'm just kidding. You do whatever you want. All right. So it's time. Yeah. I'll introduce myself and I'll ask you to do the same. This is going to be an interactive course. I'm not going to give you lots of videos to watch and then some homework to do. We're going to be as close as a classroom as we can be. Okay? It's very important because what we're going to do is try to understand and live those cross-cultural differences. So you cannot do this all separate in your own places. We have to be somehow exchanging together. So I don't know if I'm going to ask a few questions. You may answer. The principle is either you click on your image and you can raise your hand and say, I want to answer, or you show it to me on the screen like this, and I can give you the microphone, or you turn on your microphone and you give me an answer. Each in turn, I will ask you something, right? My first question to you, has any one of you, I sent you an email about an hour and a half ago, took the time to Google my name and have an idea who's your teacher? Anybody? Okay. I just wanted to know if you people were curious or not. Well, now I know. Yes, Guillaume, you want to say something?
I'm pretty sure we're all curious, but it was only an hour ago that you sent the email, so we didn't really have time to go check it out.
And we're all busy. I understand.
Fair enough.
But I do it at the last minute because the list of people participating change all the time. So I do it like just an hour and a half before, and I'll do that every week. I'll send you some things to do a few days before, but maybe sometimes a new instruction a couple of hours before we start the class. Okay. So basically what I do, what I am, I'm considered an expert in assistant in trade development in less developed countries. This means I work a lot in Africa. In the past year, I was twice in Ghana for International Trade Center in Geneva. I was in Burundi, also for the same organization, training trainers in exports. I was bringing a Canadian delegation to Tunisia with a local minister. And then I was training in Tunisia for my second time in the last year for the German, the JZ, on exporting for Tunisian companies in sub-Saharan Africa. Ghana, Nigeria, Burundi, Tunisia twice. I forget one, something like this. And I teach you guys at university. I got 2 classes at UQAM. I do this one in English, cross-cultural management. And I also do practical aspect of international trade, DSR4700 I've been doing for many years. I wrote the book. I wrote 15 books on international trade. I don't say that to try to impress you, is 15 books. It's a lot of books, right? Now, basically, it's all in international trade. The canvas is more or less the same, but we've done books for Algeria, Tunisia, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Kosovo, Burundi, Canada, United States, Belgium, in French, in English, and in Arabic, which I cannot read. I'm serious. I must have one of these here, maybe. No, yeah, a big one. I don't. Yeah. I'm not kidding. That's Carl Niville de Chêne. It's a basis of cross-cultural, trying to pinpoint the fact that I may have a word or two to say with you guys about working with different culture. So in the past, I've went and worked and stayed in different countries. Tunisia, I was there 33 times so far. Senegal about 12 times. Same thing for Ivory Coast. In the past, I've done work also in Central America, South America, the Caribbean. So I'll explain to you a little bit today how I was inadequate at the beginning, and I thought that the world was reacting the same way it reacts in Quebec City, right? Which is not the case. We'll try to understand that. Over the years, I've become maybe more comprehensive, flexible, understanding, and aware. And the purpose of this class, the only purpose of that class, the only thing we're going to do for those next few months together is to raise your awareness to cultural aspect in management. This is a period of globalization that we're in. Maybe there's a little setback as we have to work behind the computer for a while, but still at the international level, people are traveling again. They're taking planes, they're going to London, they're going to Durban, they're going to Dakar in order to do the work they have to do. And understanding the cross-cultural aspect in all of this, where they are, how they affect us in terms of management, conflict resolutions, marketing situations, all kinds of stuff like this. Human resources management will help us to understand and perform better. That's the idea as a manager. So very often I'll put on my manager's hat and I'll explain to you a certain situation where I had to react in a certain way in order to get the result that is asked by the upper management that they want me to do, right? I work in these type of mandates. I work with organizations like the World Bank, African Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, USAID, UK Aid. These are the European Union. These are the type of organization that hire me. So I have to fulfill their needs. Then I have to go and work in situation, for example, in Senegal. Anybody from Senegal in the class? No? Before going there, I knew and I understood what is feasible and what is not. And what is asked to do in Senegal, it was a train-the-trainer program in international trade. We were training 30 recruit trainers, professionals in international trade, and making sure they would be able to deliver such a course nationally without our help after we're gone. And we were doing this type of work with the local TPO, Trade Promotion Organization. And the way it's organized with the Islamic Development Bank and the Trade Facilitation Office of Canada, they have a tendency to believe that if we give them those tools in order to perform better, build a course so they can deliver and generate money with the course, some money for their organization, that would be sufficient. Hence, normally when an organization that does that is, let's say, European, easily give them a budget to play with. The Islamic Development Bank does not do that. They ask them to participate in the budget, right? And because of this, they were reluctant to do the work. But I, as a chief of party, the one in charge, I have to deliver what I'm hired to do. whether I pay them or don't pay them. And that's the hard part, okay? That's what we'll see the difficulties for managers, right? And I'll go back to that example a bit further. It's only a presentation, but that was really difficult, really hard. And at the end, the result was okay in the report, but practically on the ground, it's not what I wanted to get. And it's all because of those cultural aspects. We'll see. What I would like now that you have an idea, so I also have a family, 3 kids, 2 boys, a girl, a dog, a cat, you know, these type of things. And this evening, after I'm finished with you, I'm taking the car, I'm driving to Gaspé. I'm going to meet a company that produce gins and whiskey. They want to export it to Germany and they need my help. I get them the budget from the provincial government so they can do the work. Now I have to go and visit the plant and I'll be back on Sunday. So in the meantime, I'm gonna eat fresh cod and fresh lobsters while you people suffer in town eating canned beans. Something like this, right? Now that you know a little bit more about me. Oh, but yes, Guillaume. That's a question or just playing with your pen? Just playing with the pen. If you're curious, you know, there is a Facebook page, Rate My Professor for UQAM. So you can have an idea of your, your other professors. Now you know me a little bit. You can check what they say about me there. There's also a website, ratemyprofessor.com. You can go there. I was sitting at your place not long ago, between 2010 and 12, I did a MBA, an executive MBA at UQAM. So I stopped teaching and I studied for an MBA, which I needed for my work. And every time I start a class, I try to look who's in front of me, if the person exists in these network or not. And sometimes it's enlightening. So it's a little exercise you can do. Check that, ratemyprofessor.com. Okay. Now, it's going to be your turn. And I'm not sure that my list is complete. I have a list of you guys that I printed last week. What I would like you to do, okay? Each in turn, I would give a name, right? And you tell me within a minute who you are, where are you from, why are you taking this class? Is it mandatory? Is it your choice? Why is it your choice? Why do you want to take this class? I'm interested. But I also want to know where you're coming from, the country. It's relevant because we need that for the work we're going to do in class. Is that clear and understood? Yes? You can go, yes, so I understand that you get it, right? So some people move. Marie Saint-Onge does not move. You get it, Marie? Yes, you do. Very good. Zia, are you picking it up? Very good. Excellent. Try to interact as much as we can with this type of tool. So do I have Marguerite Jeanne Oregon with me? Marguerite, hello. Turn on your microphone.
Yeah. So I'm a French student. So I'm from France, but I'm currently in Montreal. And I'm doing a BBA and my specialization is international management. I've traveled a lot in my life and I just love that. Well, I love fashion and yeah, that's me. Why this class? I really love to choose my class in English and I think it's really interesting, but all the more this course because it's just I think that this course is just international, so it's way more better in English than in French.
Thank you very much, Marguerite. Rumeisa Beklem. No, present? Yes, no, Rumeisa Beklem. Okay. All right. Do I have Aida Karabutosar? I don't. Do I have Laurence Darvaux?
Yeah, hi.
Laurence, how are you?
Very good. So my international background, if I can say, is what convinced me to get into international management. So I lived abroad for 5 years. I'm from Quebec, Canada, but I lived in Malaysia for 9 months, in India for 2 years, and in Brazil for 2 years. So from the age of 4 till 10. And lately, I've been an international athlete, so I've been traveling a lot around the world. So I would really like to continue in sports, but do international management of different athletes, of different projects. And yeah, so I think this class is going to regroup all of my passions together.
And you could give the class better than me, most probably. Thank you. Is there a Valérie Drainville? Is there a Émile Dubois-Normand?
Yes, hello.
Bonjour, Émile.
So my name is Emile. I'm from Montreal, born and raised, so 100% Quebecer. I take this course because I also study international management. I did the certificate in administration before. Now I start the back. So I love to travel too. I went in a lot of different place in my life.
For example?
For example, I went to Japan. I did all Southeast Asia. I went to Peru, Chile, Bolivia, a lot of places in the United States too, and Italy, France. Well, I did most. And yeah, so I love to meet people, to study different cultures, and that's why I chose international management, because I also love business. So yeah, pretty much it.
Thank you, Emile. Thomas Gauthier. Pas Thomas Gauthier. Angeli. Yes.
Hello, my name is Ange, and I'm from French Polynesia. I took this class because I had some of my friends who already took this class, and they told me that it was really good, and they also took it like in English. So yeah.
They took it with me or with another teacher?
I don't really know.
Okay. Very good. And you're here in Montreal?
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Jonathan Long. Okay. Darin Amanda Mambela Ananga.
Yes, my name is Amanda, and I'm currently at my last session of the Bachelor in Hospitality Management at UQAM. I'm from Cameroon, and I'm taking this class because it's an obligation, actually, and also because of I think, the cultural aspect, and to meet other people from all over the world.
Okay. No camera used for you.
Unfortunately, my computer does not have one.
Yes. You can buy one for $20 and it works fine. That would be good, but it shows that you have a camera here. Thank you very much. Tamara Michaud-Forbes. Tamara, turn your microphone on.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I said next class I will buy a new webcam.
Thank you, Amanda. Tamara Michaud-Forbes, can you turn on your microphone? I don't hear you. You have to turn on your microphone. I don't hear you. We don't hear. Nobody hears you. Microphone. It doesn't work? Okay, so go to the chat, and write. Where are you from? Tell us, to everyone, where are you from? Now you must have a friend, girlfriend, or boyfriend who knows how to organize your laptop to be sure that your microphone works next week. Now, can you go to the chat on the bottom, click chat, and write to us a little message? Where are you from, Tamara? From Montreal, half Jamaican, half Quebecoise. Okay, Tamara's from Montreal. Jamaican and Quebecoise, that's an interesting mix. Who's Jamaican, your father or mother? Father, okay, and your mother's Quebecoise. Very good. I guess you've been to Jamaica many times? Yes? Where in Jamaica? Kingston, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, where is the family based? Which city? You studied and worked there, family based Kingston. You know, just for the information, so I create a link with you. I lived in Kingston, Jamaica for 1 year. You were not born, that's a long time ago, okay? But I was, I'll have some stories about my behaving in Jamaica, okay? Which I was 24, 5. I was not good because I didn't know. It's really, okay? So I won't look good for all of you, but it's a learning process, you know? In my stories, I'll become a little bit better, but I have a story in Jamaica. I can go for it now. They used to call me Boomy in Jamaica, okay? It's because I lose my temper every Friday. I used to work for a British trading house. I was the one in charge of the activities based in that area of the Caribbean. We were based in Jamaica for a traveling purpose. It's easy to travel from Kingston to all over the Caribbean at the time. I don't know about today. And I had a few Jamaicans working with me. So I would be beginning of the week, I would ask, blah, 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 can we do this for Friday? Yeah, man, Ari, man, no problem. Okay. Then I arrive on Friday, nothing is done. So the Canadian dude lose his temper. Every Friday, I blow a fuse because I have to report to London and the work is not done. So they call me Boomy, right? I had to understand it in another manner in order to be able to convey my message so they would be able to do what they're supposed to do for Friday. And when I used to ask them, can you do this for Friday? I never precise this coming Friday. So for them, it's this Friday or maybe another Friday somewhere down the line, okay? Now, you may look at this in a little bit of humor and say, oh, it's funny. It's not funny when your boss is in London and say, what's wrong with you? Because I'm in charge and I have to deliver. So I have to handle my team in a different manner. This is what we'll discover, okay? That's one example. I'll have another example in Madrid a bit further. Thank you, Tamara, and welcome. Louis-Philippe Perrault.
Yes, hello. So my name is Louis-Philippe. I'm born and raised in Montreal. I also study, like Amanda, I think, in hospitality management. So most precisely in hotel and restaurants. It was an obligation for me to take a course in English, and this course looked relevant to me because I'm very open to go work abroad. So
you travel a bit?
I do.
In the past?
I traveled a lot for sports, music festival, and just.
You're a musician, or you just went there for the party?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
And where did you go?
I've been in Denmark, been in the United States, been in Greece. That's for music festivals, and I do a lot of skiing. So I went to BC, France, Italy for sports.
BC is another culture, British Columbia, but
It is
still in Canada, right?
But still in Canada.
But it's a total different culture, if there's a difference.
But I kind of felt at home there, though.
You did. Quebecers love BC.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, it's a different pace than Alberta, for example, or Prince Edward Island. We'll see. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome. Guillaume Saint-Julien. Que j'ai Guillaume.
Hi.
Tu m'entends bien?
Yeah,
Guillaume.
I'm here.
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. So,
Right on.
where are you
Well,
from?
I'm Guillaume. I'm from Montreal, born and raised. And yeah, who am I? I'm a wine industry professional. I studied sommelier in Quebec and in the US. I went and do some certifications in the US, and I didn't work there though, but I worked in Quebec, and I don't really like to work in a restaurant, and I just have this dream of going work abroad in the wine industry. I'm very passionate about the Middle East as well. I've been to Egypt a few times, and I really, really enjoy this place, and I am looking forward to work there as well. So yeah, that's basically it. And why am I taking this class? Because I absolutely love this idea, the subject, the culture. I like to cook different food. I like to just see different culture, do all the fun stuff, and yeah.
Guillaume, what brought you to Egypt?
My
What's
girlfriend
so
did
hot
actually.
in Egypt for you? What's so hot in Egypt for you?
The culture, the culture there especially. I really like the people there, how welcoming they are, and how it's hard to explain in so little words, but the vibe there is just different, and there's just so much love everywhere you go, and it's just absolutely amazing.
I'll rephrase that in another way. What brought you in Egypt the first time?
My girlfriend did. My girlfriend is Egyptian, yeah.
Love. There you go.
Love brought me there.
There you go. See, she was or she's Egyptian, right?
Yeah, she was born there as well.
So she brought you to her family.
Yeah,
Oh,
basically.
that's a sign of trust.
Very much.
Yeah.
Very, very much.
She introduced you to mom and dad and grandfather and grandmother.
Everybody.
All right. So it's. Are you fiancé?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
What's wrong with you? I'm just kidding. Don't answer. I'm just kidding.
It's okay.
You'll have to understand a bit my sense of humor. Okay,
I understand it because you probably know the culture there, and that's why you're making these jokes.
I understand. Okay, I don't want to upset anybody. Sometimes.
No, you don't. It'll take a lot to upset me.
Yeah, sometimes I'll push some of you, but because I want to create also a reaction. No harm done. Believe me, okay? I don't want to shock anyone. But sometimes maybe one or two of you will need a little bit of a push for a reaction that we need to have in order to understand a concept, okay? So Egypt, you've been there so how many times?
Been there twice, and I'm going there during the semester probably.
Okay.
But I've been there for like 3 months.
So we'll give you an Egyptian assignment to do while you're there.
That's a pretty good idea.
Or we'll all go with you for a class.
That'd be a little bit hard.
No?
I'll have to adjust with the
online.
Oh, fair enough.
Online, you know, you can do marvels with this online stuff. You have no idea. If you want, I'm going to do something with you, and I'll take you to the shore of whoops, I forget.
What about Sinai?
No. Bangladesh.
Ooh.
Okay, so we're traveling. We're now on the shore of Bangladesh. Well, this is the fun part of this, using this properly. Huh? We're not in Bangladesh. It's a green screen. There you go. All right. Well, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me go back to my professional screen for today. Now that we travel a little bit, so you could do the same with the pyramids in the back. You could. Andy Sanchez. Andy Sanchez? Do I have Andy Sanchez? I don't. Do I have a Marie-Claude Saint-Onge?
Hi.
Hello.
So you can just call me Mary if you want to.
Marie, okay.
Yeah.
You don't like the Claude? That was, no?
No, I don't know. Nobody called me Marie-Claude.
Everybody
so
called me.
I can take that. Marie, Marie Saint-Onge.
Yeah, correct. So I'm from Boucherville on the south shore of Montreal. I was born there also. I traveled a lot in Asia during the last 3 years. And I'm taking this class because I'm finishing my bachelor degrees this year in tourism management, and I needed to take a class in English. So I just read the description of the class, and I thought it was interesting. So this is why I took it.
Okay, so many of you are in tourism and you had to take a class in English, and hence that choice. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, but it will be useful. We'll keep that in mind because we'll keep that hospitality in our mind all along, because I see that there are many of you like this. Thank you. Ariane Vermersch.
Hi, I'm Ariane. I'm from Saint-Hyacinthe on the South Shore. My mom is Québécoise. My dad is from France. I'm in second year in stratégie de production bac. And I took this class because if I want to travel with the artists or cinema production, I thought it would be interesting.
Okay, travel a little bit already? You went to different places?
Yeah, I went a lot of times in France to see my family. I went to Belgium, Spain, the Netherlands, Greece, Peru. I think that's it.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Very good. Fun. Thank you so much. Welcome. Vera Witkowska. Vera. Do we have a Vera? Yeah, let me see.
Hi.
Yes, Vera, there you go. Hello, how are
My
you?
name is Vera. I'm from Ukraine. I came here 9 years ago. Right now I'm tourism and hotel management. So me too, I was forced to take a class in English. And I think this course is very relevant with my program. And I like everything that it has to do with culture, international. So, yeah.
You came here 9 years ago from Ukraine. So you were what, 12 years old or something like that? 12,
Yeah,
13?
12, yeah.
Okay. And why did you come from Ukraine to Canada? What was the main idea for your parents there, or?
So I can have more choices, more opportunities.
Okay.
To study, have a good job. I don't know.
And what does your parents do? Do they work? Mother, father? What do they do?
My mom, she doesn't work. My father, he's an engineer.
Yes.
Yeah.
In what kind of field of engineering?
Civil.
Yes, yes. Ponts et chaussées, the roads and bridges and that type of thing.
I don't know. He works at Hydro-Québec.
Okay.
I don't know what he does especially.
Very
Sorry.
good. Very good. So he has a good job. He's happy
Yeah,
here. Okay. What neighborhood do you live in?
So right now, well, I was living in Montreal, but in April, I moved to my parents' house and I live in Napierville.
Napierville.
It's very far from Montreal.
Yeah, where is Napierville? Tell us, because nobody has an idea where Napierville is.
The next city is Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu.
Okay, yes, very good.
It's 45 minutes
Yeah,
from.
45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Okay, do you like it there?
It's very quiet, but we are looking to buy a house in Montreal, so soon I will move again to the city.
So Zoom is good. You don't have to go back and forth from Montreal to Napierville every day.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Okay, okay. And at home, what do you speak? French, English, or Ukrainian?
Russian.
Russian you do. Okay, that's the language at home.
Well, I speak Ukrainian and Russian both, but
Yes.
I think that it's more easier to speak Russian. I don't know why.
Okay, very good. So you were raised with the Ukrainian Russian culture.
Yes, mentality, culture, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take you as an example a bit further along. I'm saying this because thank you, Vera. normally I have classes of 50 to 60 students with 25 different origin in types of countries in the same class. Today, you're a majority of French Canadian, so it's not the same dynamics, okay? It's interesting for me to be able to understand where you're from. I'll go back to the other names that are not on my list. I'll name you one after the other, and we'll go around this. But I want you to understand why I do this. I want to understand who's there, who am I going to be able to use as a local example and examples with foreign knowledge. It's very important. When we do a group assignment, maybe a case study in class or something similar, I will try to mix as much as I can so I don't have a group of French and a group of French Canadians. I'll try to mix, but I don't have that much choice today in the type of class that I have. Normally, when I have 25 different origin in a class, I have people from Mexico, from Senegal, from Cameroon, from France, from Austria, from Germany, from Australia, from the USA, from somewhere else in Canada, from, well, God knows, all kinds of destinations. And this creates a lot of people from Japan, Taiwan, China, sometimes Vietnam. So it's interesting because what we're trying to learn, we are able to live it in class. It's interesting. So I make a group and we do a case study and I separate in group. Maybe one time I let the Chinese be together and the French be together, and they will come up, the French with a French thinking of answering the situation, and the Chinese with a Chinese way of thinking. If I mix them, then the discussion takes another dimension because there's within each group discussion in order to come up with one answer that is needed to solve the case study, right? But if it's all people from the same origin, it's easy to come up with a unique solution because we somehow think a bit alike. We'll learn these concepts, okay? Okay, that's the list that I had last week. So from then, I see Clément, you didn't speak. Clément, what's your last name?
Unou.
Comment?
Unou.
Can you spell that for me?
Hunou. I can write it on my Zoom.
Yeah, you could you do that on the chat so I don't make any mistakes?
Yep.
You know, I see it. Hunout. And Clément, where are you from?
I come from France.
I'm France.
I'm in a 1-year exchange with my school.
Yes.
So I don't choose this class really, but we need 4 classes in English.
Yes.
So it's very good for me because I want to work in international business. So it's a very good place for me.
What school are you coming from France? Which one?
PSB.
PSB. Very good. Have you met some of your fellow students who took that class before?
No.
Because every year I got people from PSB coming to that class.
I think they chose always the same classes because they need in 4th grade to regroup the students with the same capacity and study.
Very good. Are you living in Montreal right now?
No, because in France we come from in Canada until we don't have come one time before or have a validate CIQ.
So you're taking a class from France?
Yeah.
So it's what, 7:40 for you p.m.?
No, it's 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Okay. 8:30. Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guillaume, Emile, Angeli, Marguerite, Tamara, Tristan. You didn't speak, Tristan. Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine, thank you. I'm from France too, in a business school.
Which one?
Burgundy School of Business.
Burgundy School of Business.
and I chose this class because I love to travel, and I believe that if I want to be a manager in the future, I need to understand properly every culture.
Yeah, it's a quite a task that you're putting in front of you, but maybe
Every
one
culture.
culture at a time. So when you get my age, you'll have a few culture that you understand better.
I hope so. Yeah.
Where are you located?
I'm in Angers right now. I don't know if you know the place.
Yes, it's a bit come. Where was Vera coming from? Vera, you were from near Saint-Jean-sur-le-Richelieu, so Angers is a bit the same kind of thing. Yeah, it's the countryside, far away from the center. Okay. You say, Tristan, that you travel. Where did you go?
Um, I I've been in the US, and I've traveled a lot in Europe, like Portugal, Spain, the UK, Germany, Greece, and so on.
What
And
what kind of travel were they? Summer travel, backpack
yeah,
with friends, that kind of thing?
yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That kind of thing. Okay. Very good. So it's a summer party, fun, music, dance, food, right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty
You
much.
know,
Yeah.
but it's
But it's yeah. I've been with my family too, and so I learned to. Um, for example, I was in Thailand too, and I I um, I talked with people too, and learn from them too. It was not just for fun.
okay. No, no, but there's a lot to be learned having fun at the same time. And Tristan, I was not 60 all my life. You know, I was 20 years old too, and I traveled with a backpack, and I went all kinds of places, and I had buckets of fun, and
Yeah,
I learned. But I was totally useless in Jamaica at 25 years old because I didn't learn. Nobody teach this type of class at the time. Okay.
yeah.
So we'll work on that awareness a little bit more. Marie, we did. Christopher, hello, Christopher, how are you?
Hello, fine, thanks. So I live in France, in Lyon, but I study in Paris. And in my school, we can't choose the subject school, but I think this class can be more interesting than other because that's great to know about culture. And as a business student, making the link between business and culture can be interesting too.
Excellent, Christopher. So you're in France, you're French?
Yes, I live in Lyon, but study in Paris.
Yes, and your family is from what origin?
Chinese.
China. Where in China?
I don't really know.
Did you
I
ever
forget the
travel?
name.
Did you ever travel to see your family in China?
Yes, but I was a kid, so don't have a lot of memories.
You're still a kid, but a grown kid.
1 year old and 3 years old. So
Okay, yeah, that's a long time ago.
yes,
What language did you speak at home?
French, big French,
French.
just French.
So do you master your Mandarin or Chinese or Cantonese? What do you speak? Do you speak a little bit of the Chinese language?
No, I just speak French. I try to learn in Chinese, but that's too difficult, so I give up.
So like me, ni hao, xie xie is about what you got, right?
Sorry?
Like me, the only thing you get is maybe ni hao and xie xie, like hello and thank you.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So I'm as much Chinese as you are, finally.
Yes, maybe.
I'm teasing. Okay, thank you, Christopher. Louis-Philippe, Vira, Tom Ferric. Bonjour, Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hello. So I'm from France. I'm studying in Paris in a business school. And I chose this course because for first, I love studying about culture, and I cannot travel a lot of times because because of a budget. So my only way to to learn about cultures is through courses and internet research.
Okay.
And also because the headline of the course were very catchy.
The headline was catchy.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's why I chose this course.
We had a catchy phrase. I don't even know what it is. You should write to me what was the catchy phrase. I will like to.
The name of the course might be very interesting.
Okay. Understanding cross-cultural management or something similar. Good. Excellent. And Tom, where are you located right now? You're in Paris, right?
Yes, I'm in Paris.
Okay. And no budget to travel. So you need a job that makes you travel.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, see, I'm the same. Same for me. I have no money to travel, but I have jobs that keep me traveling all the time. You know, I get paid to travel. This is good. And many of the people here in this class, they're in tourism, so they should end up being hotel managers in Singapore, in you know, Bora Bora, or you know, or Libreville, Gabon. You know, all these places have great aspect to discover. We'll get to this. Thank you, Tom. Thibaut Deleby.
Hi. So yeah, my name is Thibaut. I'm from France, from PSB also. And so yeah, this course was mandatory for me.
Mandatory. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. You seem nice.
That's the first day. It may change. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go on.
Well, I don't know what to.
Well, it's a mandatory class. That tells me a lot. But anything that did you travel? Did you go somewhere? Did you spend some time?
Yeah,
Your family all French, born and raised, and from grandfather, grandmothers,
yeah.
generation in a row, something like this.
Yeah, no, all family is French.
Really? Do you have a couple of drop of bloods from Charlemagne King in your veins, like I do?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
18% of the French national have that.
18.
18%. Don't you know these things?
No.
I know more about France than you do. I'm just teasing. I have no idea. But see, a little bit of this is what I'm saying. I'm not filling up time. All I'm saying is all filling up on the topic of the day. You will see. The first pivot de chaîne that came to Canada was at the end of the summer, August 1657. He was Swiss from Fribourg. He was a Swiss guard for the Richelieu Cardinal, right? And he moved, well, when the Cardinal died, being Huguenot, it's a form of a Christian part of religion, but it's a specific branch of it. It was not good to be in France being Huguenot. So they catch him and they give him the choice between the guillotine or the colony. The poor guy went for the colony and it ended up in Quebec City. Okay, end of summer, 1657, right? He got there with his wife and kids. They were giving some land across the river in front of Quebec City. And from there, the kids installed themselves in Beauport, Ile d'Orléans, and I forget, another place a bit further down the river. Jacques Neville installed himself over there. And at these years, they usually send some boats with girls from the court with a bag of money. So they can come here, get married, and install themselves with a good person over here and grow the colony, right? They were called les filles du roi. That's what they were called, right? So Jacques Neville wanted to give him a little bit of glory to himself, did change his name to Jacques Miville dit Sieur des Chênes, went to Quebec City when the boat arrived and met Catherine de Bayon. This is all published. You get books on this. I'm not making this up for today. Catherine de Bayon is direct lineage with the King Charlemagne. Hence, the drop of blue blood that just went here a few seconds ago. Okay, something like this. This is where I get this from. And from that lineage came your teacher of the day, Carl-Méville de Chênes. There you go. Now you know my. It's important because this is part of my culture, and I'll bring it back to you. My lineage. Okay. Some people like Vera arrived here when she was 12 or 13, right? Her lineage in Canada starts 12 years ago, or 9 years ago, sorry. And then the children of her children of her children of her children will talk about my great grandmother Vera, who arrived in Canada when she was 9 years old, or 12 years old, whatever. And the story in Canada starts from that movement, right? And your kids, Vera, will probably not speak your Russian or Ukrainian, but only French and English. Maybe, you know, it depends how strict you are with making sure that your lineage keep its culture or not. We'll explore these topics in the next hour or so together. Laurence Darvaux, we didn't speak yet. Laurent, we did?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Zian Ducastel.
Yes, Ducastel.
Ducastel.
So, like a few people on this course, I'm from PSB in Paris. I'm really looking forward to go to Canada, maybe on the second semester, if that's possible, because I'm really curious. So this course, even if I didn't choose it, I think it matches what I'm looking for, because I'm really curious and really looking forward to discover some new culture. So international management and culture should match. I had the opportunity, thanks to my parents when I was younger, to travel, but it was mostly in Europe and a little bit in Africa, but I've never been to America or Asia.
Where in Africa?
In Egypt, to do some diving.
Yeah, the most beautiful places, the Red Sea.
The Red Sea, I went to a cruise, diving cruise on the Red Sea. It was really cool.
I'm a diver too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love diving.
So you're my best friend in the class from now on.
Okay, I noticed.
Because we have a link together, diving.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I wanted to go to Montreal to discover new things and travel after in America. So I don't know when I will be able to come, or even if I will be able, but it's a 1-year exchange. So I'm really looking forward to come, like maybe in January if the situation is better. I don't know. I hope so.
Diving sucks here in Montreal. Man.
Yes, I don't want to come to Montreal to dive.
Especially in January.
Yeah, no, I will never do that.
Oh, you'd be surprised how people go to the North Shore to dive under the ice.
Yes, I've seen.
It's marvelous, but you have to be trained for this. It's very special. It's unbelievably cold, but the anemone and the other type of species that you find over there is fantastic. So I'm throwing them away.
Okay, I understand. But I prefer to dive in hot place just to see good things, not for like do some extreme sports.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay, now who else? Am I missing someone? Somebody who didn't speak yet?
Oui, moi.
Yes,
me, sorry.
Émilie Saint-Arnaud, finally,
Yes.
you see a face.
Yes, I'm at the clinic, actually. You know
Okay.
how it is? You get so I've been waiting for like 2 hours. Right. So my name is Emily. I'm from Saint-Gilles-de-Vatican in Mauricie. I've been living in Montreal for a while. And I'm taking this class because actually I didn't choose. It's just how it is. And but I already work in management, so I think this is going to be a great addition to my curriculum vitae.
Did you travel a little bit, Emily?
A little bit. I did pretty much the whole continental United States. I'm missing a few states, but I can count them on one hand. I've, like a good Québécoise, I've been to Cuba, I've been to Mexico, I've been in Europe, in general, the UK, France, and I've been going, one of my best friends lives in Spain, so I've been
Very
going
good.
there a few times.
Okay, very helpful. So, do you have a fever? Do you cough? You have difficulty breathing?
No, I couldn't be here if I had a fever.
Stay away from
If you have a fever, or like, no, I don't have a fever.
Hopefully,
Don't worry.
hopefully you get better for next week. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Yeah,
Haven't
no, of
spoken
course.
with? Anybody else? Émilie Saint-Arnaud?
Yeah, hello.
You? Yes, who's next?
This is Nicolas Parodi.
Nicolas Parodi, no
Yeah.
camera.
Sorry, I don't have any camera, yeah.
Okay, so tell me.
So I live in Paris. I'm in Paris School of Business. I didn't choose the class, but it sounds funny and very interesting. So I'm glad to be here, and I wish I could see everyone in the second semester. And yeah, that's all.
Yeah, we cannot predict what will happen. Are you going to get a camera for next week? Or
Yeah, I will try. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
very good. No, it's not an expensive thing, and it makes a difference because we want to be able to discuss and exchange with each other. And sometimes we'll create reactions and we want to see how it happens, the look in your eyes or whatever. You're happy, you're upset, you're smiling, you're whatever. It's part of what we're trying to experiment together.
Yeah, of
All
course.
right. Thank you. So far, my class is mainly French and French Canadians. Okay, so that limits a little bit the way we do the games in here. I'll have to better my strategy a little bit in order to create the certain shock or situation that I want. Not shock, I don't want to scare you of anything, but sometimes I want to create a reaction because I want to be able to illustrate. See, if I take some content from the book, I read it to you, you can do this by yourself. It's not like understanding. And sometimes you will have example on your own that you'll be able to bring because this is an open class, we'll be exchanging. And you'll say, well, I traveled to Spain, to France, to Mexico, to UK, to Egypt. And then we'll see that sometimes the way people react in Egypt is different from the people from Spain for whatever reason. And we'll understand why or how they do this and what can we do with this as managers. Because that's our main purpose, to get a better results as managers in these type of situations, how we manage our multicultural troops. But first of all, we have to understand what it is, okay? I gave you a course outline for you to have a look at. I can go through this briefly and I'll go again on it further on. It's going to be, I'll take 10 minutes on this, then we'll take a break because I cannot keep you, it's 58 minutes. Normally I try to keep you below 1 hour on the screen so you can take a little break, breathe some air, go to the bathroom, pour yourself another espresso cup, whatever. So we change pace a little bit. Okay, but I want to go through this in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share screen with you guys. Where's that thing? Where's that thing? Hold on. Here, course outline. Up. View. View full screen. Poof. There you go. And this is it. All right, so you should be able to see the course outline. I'm going to go quickly, forget about the reading course. What I want to get to you is what we're going to have to do in this type of class, okay? The format is we have a little bit of material that we're going to look at. It's taken from the book, this book, right? This book, you already have it. It's in the Moodle. I give you the Acrobat file. It's free. Normally, it's a, I don't know, an $80 book or something similar, but they don't print it no more. So I can give it to you. Otherwise, I could not. You'd have to go and buy it online or find a Chinese link where you can get it for free or go to the co-op and pay a fortune for the book. But now you have the PDF version, right? Normally, I ask you to read a couple of pages before today. Now, I see all the pictures that I see. Who read the chapter that I asked to be read today? Raise your hands. Okay, so Emile, you get an extra point, and the others lose an extra point. I'm kidding, it's not true. Oh, Ariane suddenly raised her hand. She says, me too. I want a point. It's important to read, not today, but every week, because we're going to discuss the topic. I'm not going to read the book to you. I want you to understand. Normally, it's like 10 pages. It's not full. There's some windows of stuff that you don't necessarily need. It's quickly done. Okay, and it will prepare you for what we're going to do, the subject that we're going to cover. Okay, and week after week, if I move format here, okay, today we're going to talk about what's culture, the determinant of culture, what's inside a culture. Okay, then we're going to talk the following week. Will be part 2 of what's culture, and we relate it with style of management. How does it imply different type of management? We'll talk about following after that, cultures in organization, corporate culture, dimension of culture, and we'll discover models. There are some models, Ofted's, Trompenaars, and some others. We're going to keep models are always imperfect, but they're going to be useful for your work for the semester. So we'll explore 2 of them, Ofsted and Trompenaars mostly. We'll see they have some web applications or phone app that you can use in order to be able to use these type of tools. It's quite easy to use. It'll give you a good direction so you understand how to perceive Chileans from Mexicans, right? Then we'll turn that into how does that influence our leadership as leaders in organization. Leaders doesn't mean that you're the CEO. You could be leaders of your team, that's all. A team can be 2 people, so you can lead 1 person, you can lead 10, you can lead 20. If you have a team of 10 people and they're from all over the place, the way you manage them, it's not like you're a team of French people in Paris, from the same society level. The French understand what I'm saying, right? If we would be in India, for example, there are castes. So if I have a team of mixed people from mixed castes, it's very difficult to manage because some people will not take orders from somebody from another caste, whatever, okay? So we'll see how that affects leaderships and how it affects strategies, corporate strategies, how we work with these type of things. This would be the first part of the semester, okay? It's technical, it's not boring. It's gonna be with some case studies, videos, discussion. I'm gonna put you in situation. I'm gonna put you in groups. I'm gonna open some rooms in the Zoom, and I'm gonna separate you, and I'm gonna make you work separately. Then we'll come back, we convene together, and discuss our findings together and see what we're going to do with this. You'll see, this is quite fun. We'll have some videos for comments, these type of things in order to dig a little bit deeper. And I'll bring some examples of my own experience, but I will request examples from your personal discoveries. So if I'm thinking of Guillaume, for example, in Egypt, yeah, you were looking at the sky, so I brought you back into the classroom. See, if we go towards North Africa and we talk about Egypt, French-speaking North Africa, English-speaking North Africa, Libya, Egypt, the way people think, discuss, they were brought up, how does that influence the family itself, the way they perceive people from foreign countries, these type of things. And we'll be able to use you because you're the foreigner going to Egypt. There must be some stories behind this. So we'll request your personal opinion on this. We'll have a midterm exam. Between now and the midterm exam, we'll do at least 2 case studies. So it will be another case study based on the similar one that we've done. It will be a group midterm exam. So I'm going to mix you into 3 teams or something similar. So you do it together. It's impossible to miss. There's no bad answer to this. You work for 2-3 hours together, you get it, it's simple. Don't worry, you're gonna have all good grades. It's a simple thing to do, but it's work to be done, right? And then we're gonna go into international marketing, and then we'll explore doing business with Asia, Europe, Africa. We'll have guests that will come and visit or pre-recorded, whatever what happens. In the past few semesters, we had the makers of Lens, Essilor, the managers for North America. There's French, work in Australia, USA, Mexico, UK, sometimes back to France. It was harder for him to go back to France, where he's from, than working in Canada. It's interesting, you'll see. We'll have normally a Chinese attorney that will, she's from China, she works here, so she makes the bridge between Chinese investors and Canadian companies with a French-Canadian law firm, and it's subject to misunderstanding somehow, somewhere. We'll see how she managed all this. We'll have also an African, somebody from, if I remember well, Togo, who was mostly raised in France, and went back to work in Ivory Coast, they didn't see that he was black. For them, he was a French white person. The way he talks, reacts, they treated him like a French national, white French national. He'll explain that himself in his own language, saying, I felt totally out of place, you know, and he's Togolese, if I remember well. So we'll see how this works. We'll understand how to work with international teams, what it means. We'll talk about conflict resolutions, differences, how to fix this. You'll see the solution is quite simple. And then I'll go back up. Okay, there will be, not for now. Oh, I got the wrong dates. I have to change the dates on this thing. Sorry, I went too fast. So there'll be a current event. I'm going to ask you to do, it's after the midterm, where you'll find an article to comment on cultural aspect. Then there's the intra exam. Then there'll be a final exam at the end. And there's a team research project, and I'll detail that a little bit further, not necessarily today, but a team project. We're going to work on a company here or a company in France, if you want, you can do that. That works with a multicultural team. And then you're going to have a discussion with them, see how they manage, if they have a management program for that or not. If they do, how it works. If they don't, why not? And then maybe a couple of discussions, if they let you have some, on how does it go inside their organization, whether locally, here in Montreal or in Paris or wherever. And or if that company works abroad, for example, a French company that works in India, how do they work with people from India? How does it work for them? That would be interesting. And then you convey back this information. It will be a short video that you're going to build on Zoom. I'll explain to you how it's done. And then there'll be, you're going to render me at the end the PowerPoint that you built for this. It's a simple thing too. It's a work, but it's a simple work to do. Okay? Oops, I forgot to share all this. So basically that's it. So I don't know if you have any question about this at this time. I would welcome for you to read it. I will correct the dates on the delivery of these things sometimes during the weekend. And then next week, if you come up with questions, I'll clarify this. Now, don't get stressed for the work that has to be done. We'll prepare ourselves for this work, and when time is due, I will explain to you how it's done. It's a simple thing. All right? If you're okay with so far, can you just give me a thumbs up? Tristan, it's okay? Okay, very good. So we'll take 10 minutes break, all right? It's 10 past. So at 25 past, we'll be able to start again. Okay? See you then. Bon. Welcome back. I was your course outline is with the right dates. What I had on screen was an older version. So the analysis of a current event will be due at the end of October. That's why I mean we have plenty of time to get ready for this. There is no question of doing any type of assignment now because it's way too early. We have to gather some knowledge in order to be able to work with this. Again, I want you not to worry. I will guide you through the whole thing. I want to make sure that you get there. So my purpose as a teacher is not only that you gather the knowledge, but you know how to use it. So if I ask you to do something, I will guide you to make sure that you do it the best way. If you follow me, if we discuss this together and we move along, we should be able to get outstanding results. Okay? Any questions on your part? No questions. Okay. So let's jump right in and see what we got. I got 22 participants. Right. Okay. So I'm going to use a little bit of the PowerPoint that was on the modal. So if you want to refer to this, this is going to be our start of the topic of the day. Determinant of culture. What is culture? Right? I'm going to share sometimes. Screen number 1. There you go. Up. 1, 2, 3. Up. And then. Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, we are now in a, you are dipped into complete globalization, meaning you are from here, you're studying somewhere else, you travel, you come back, a lot more than when I was young. Still, 18, 19, I was traveling in Europe, I was traveling in different places, I've always been traveling. I guess it's in my blood, but it's even more accessible for you. There's more student exchange programs, so some of you are willing to come and study here next semester. Normally every semester in this class in particular, like I said to you, I have people from 25 different origins participating in this class. This means a lot of things for the organization, for the enterprise, whether it's a money-generating enterprise, or if it's an NGO, or if it's a non-profit, or it's a caritative organization, a school, a training program, a support, whatever it is, right? People from all over the place are all over the place working with people from all over the place. It's a big change. And we'll see that as we move along in different presentations that we have. 30 years ago, it's in a particular video in particular, the French were working with the French, the Americans with the Americans, the Canadians with the Canadians, and sometimes you would have an American coming here, and we looked at him like, oh, there was an American here. French would come here and we'd say, oh no, not the French again, something like this. Don't take it personally. I'm having fun. Okay, so this globalization change is changing the rules. It's not the same thing. Meaning the management that arise around this is different. So we have to understand what is culture, right? If you've read a little bit in your book, I could ask you, what is culture? Culture is, according to Ofsted, which is one of the model that we're going to look at, I call this a collective programming of the mind, which distinguishes the member of human group from one to the other. For example, who's from Quebec? Raise your hand. Okay, stay up. Let me see. Let me have a look. Okay, okay. So I got on screen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 of you. But some with a bit of influence. Tamara has a little bit of Jamaican influence in her family. Ariane Vermesh, you got a little bit of French influence in your family, if I remember well. Okay, something like this. When I was raised, I'm from Quebec City. Okay, Quebec City, white, Catholic, French-speaking society. Okay, when I was a kid, we watched television, black and white. Okay, there was 2 French channels, one from the government brand, CBC, right? Radio Canada, and one a private station, and there was 1 English station. So there were 3 channels of it, only 3 channels, black and white. Okay, so that was, let's say, the main influence of what we listened to. Children program. I was raised in French. I was raised with my aunt. My brother was raised with my father, and my brother was raised in English school. So he watched the B channel in English, and I watched the channel in French. So our culture is not the same. He relates to television program as kids that I don't relate to because I was not listening to this. I'm trying influences that will create the culture. We are both raised in the same French, Catholic, white, whatever, Quebec people, okay? In Quebec City, there is a 12% of the population of English descent. The reason my brother studied in English, the belief of my father, if you speak English, you get a better job. You get better opportunities. For me, my English learning, I was sent during summer camp in English places, in Maine, in Nova Scotia, in Massachusetts, in Cape Cod, for my summer camp. So I would learn English, same purpose, right? So this all influenced my upbringing. When I was a kid in Quebec, Catholic, so we go to church every Sunday. We go to church with my aunt. We go to church early, 15 minutes before it starts. I'm probably hyperactive, so I have problems sitting down in church for an hour and a half. And then we leave at after the end. It takes forever. When I go to church with my father, we arrive after the sermon, the homily from the priest, and we leave before the. We stay for 10 minutes with my father. I love going to church with my father. 10 minutes, and then we go to the local store, so we buy my favorite comic strip. Okay, so I would tell my aunt I'm going to church with my father, and I'm going with my father. What I'm trying to convey here is my upbringing, white, Catholic, French-speaking, Quebec City, influenced the way I perceive the world from day one, with my television channels, with my upbringing, with my brother, who would listen in English to Star Trek. Star Trek, maybe that gives you an idea what it is. Yes, you've seen the movies, maybe. So before that, it was a series of television program that went on for 15 years. And when we started to see, I used to listen to Star Trek with my brother in English in black and white. Okay, that's how old I am. This influenced me in a way that my French friends would not listen to this. So we perceive different things. In the course of my life, I had for a certain time a company with an Anglo-Saxon Canadian here, an English-speaking Quebecer, from a family that's been here English-speaking forever. And their family, they listen to that English television channel. So in their jokes, they refer to television program, Mr. Head. It used to be a farmer speaking with his horse and discussing with his horse. That was a television program for kids. So they would make Mr. Head jokes. Now, if you were not raised with that element of English speaking upbringing, you could not understand the Mr. Head jokes, okay? I'm not saying they were good jokes. It was part of their English speaking Quebecer culture, Mr. Head. On the other side, we had the Capitaine Bonhomme and other things, and that creates this, what we were raised with, the joke that we had when we were younger kids, and the way we see the world. We were living in front of the Université Laval. The only black students that were there were from Africa. They were studying mining at the University Laval. They were coming from Africa. So every time we drive by the university, this is the only place where we would be exposed to black people. There was no black people in the city. There none, right? So for us, it was a discovery to drive by and say, wow, black people, right? Something like this. So for us, it was an encounter of different things. I've been to places in India where I was the only white person that went there. And I would go there and the kids would look at me like, wow, and he would touch, to how come he's so clear? What's wrong with him? Something like this. I'm bald by choice. I shave every morning. In Tunisia, I'm in a cocktail party and somebody tells me, oh, you look like you're doing better. It took me a few seconds to register. Cancer, shaved. I don't have cancer. I just shave, right? I'm not saying, this is very important. I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong. That's not the point. Culture influences the way we think, right? Again, nothing right or wrong. It's just the way it is. There's a big matters these days on these perceptions. Let me move. Yeah, keep it like this. You see a picture here. What do you see? Tell me, talk to me. Pick up your microphone. What do you see?
A woman?
A guy.
Speak loud. What do you see?
I can see both.
Lawrence, what do you see?
I can see both.
You can see both, okay?
Yeah.
Who sees, you see, and you see both, okay? Who sees a face?
Me.
Okay? Who sees the word liar? Liar. Do you see it? Let me draft it for you. Whoops, hold on 1 second. Stylet. L-I-A-R. Liar. Okay? What does that convey? Is that we see sometimes a different thing. Sometimes we see the whole thing. Sometimes we don't. Sorry. So we have to understand that cultural wise, you've been raised, let me go back a little bit, 1 or 2. I don't want to get there yet. So your culture is manufactured by the influence that you had as a child with the tools that brought you whatever informations or whatever. You use a tablet, right? That's a big part of things. You are a generation that was born with a mouse in the cradle. The reason I spoke about black and white TV is to make the difference between your generation and my generation. There was no mouse. It did not exist. There was no tablet. And we didn't want to get rid of the kids by saying, take the tablet and leave me alone, right? We would entertain them, take them outside to play. As a matter of fact, I remember, while I'm telling you this, that every day we had to go outside and play. Whether it rains, whether it's minus 30 degrees, we would be thrown out to play outside because we had to go and breathe. I'm serious. So my aunt would say, time to go, dress up. It's minus 30 degrees, snowstorm, who cares? Open the door, woof, everybody in the snow, right? And we'd play, we'd build forts and whatever, and we'd do snowball fights and that kind of stuff. We'd play with the neighbors. We'd come in with red cheeks, we'd have hot chocolate, and then we'd sit down in front of black and white TV and we'd watch our program. But we would not watch the program all day. I'm not saying it was better or worse. I'm saying this is the way I was raised. The way you were raised is with these type of devices in your hands. And hence you get access to a lot more information, varied, that you look for just a few seconds before you switch to something else. Your attention span is different. Again, no judgment. I'm not telling you your attention span is too short, mine is better. It's not true. I'm influenced by this also. And I'm supposed to do my work and I Facebook all the time instead of studying what I'm supposed to study. And I make mistakes because my attention span got shorter and shorter with all these tools. This influenced my culture as a person. Now, being influenced by white, Catholic, French-speaking Canadian, different than being Protestant, English-speaking Quebecer, makes this culture different. Now, if I move from Quebec, my Swiss origin family that came here in 1657. That makes me an old French Canadian family, but I'm not part of the first settler here. When we got here, people were there before us, right? The way our government treated them is not the point of discussion of such a class, right? But they have their own culture. And we try to annihilate their culture by whatever means that we took. Or maybe for the French don't know, we took a lot of the early settlers that were here, right? And we took them away from the villages, we took them in orphanage, and we teach them Catholicism, Christianity, Catholicism, right? And we make sure that they forget about their own culture. We try to assimilate them, okay? Same was done between the English-speaking community at large in Canada, Ottawa, and Quebec. They try to assimilate the French-speaking. This is not a political class. This is not what I'm doing, okay? I'm just trying to say that they try to erase a culture. So the English-speaking Canada did this with the French-speaking Canadians, the whole Canadian, Quebecers, the rest of the country. We did that with the early settlers to get rid of their culture so we would become only one. It didn't work. The North American Indians, they are their own people. They try to keep their culture strong, preserve their languages. Some disappeared. They just disappeared. They do not exist anymore. Many settlers, tribes disappeared, right? What am I sharing? Many settlers disappeared over the years. They're not there anymore. There were, I don't know, Indians in Cape Cod. You've never heard of them, but there were tribes settled over there. They were assimilated by Massachusetts. They disappeared. No languages. If there are a few, if you know how to look for what they were supposed to look like, you will find them in the population, in old Bostonian people, but they disappeared. It's a culture erased, right? Now what we're trying to do here is to be sensitive to different culture. When I worked in Boston, I worked there for a few years, I had people I was working with, and for me, they look Caribbean kind of people. And I did not realize that it was Indians from the Cape Cod that were still there. They knew about their roots, but the language was gone, the tradition were gone, and the culture was gone. Here in Quebec, we organize ourselves with laws to preserve the language, so the language would not disappear in order to preserve our own culture. So we're a strong French hold speaking in North America. We're not the only one, but we're the more adamant and fighting for our culture to be alive in this continent, okay? Again, this is not a political class. We're just trying to understand these culture impacts. Now, if I work in North America, if I'm a French Canadian and I want to work in North America, being in Toronto or New York or Chicago or Boston, I have to adhere to a certain Anglo-Saxon North American culture. I have to understand, I have to behave, I have to be able to speak, I have to be able to understand how it works. I cannot impose my point of view, and I don't want their point of view to be imposed on me, but if I want to work there, I have to get some flexibility. So if I understand their culture, and their with an S, because it's not one culture for English-speaking people across North America. In Canada, there were mainly waves of settlers, mainly after the wars or the famine. The Irish came in with the famine of potatoes, and then people after the First World War, the Second World War, there were Ukrainians that came here. We sent them all the way to the west to cultivate the prairies and take care of our wheat farms. We gave them land, and they became prosperous. The Greek came in, the Italian came in, the Germans came in, and then the Vietnamese came in with the boat people, and then so on and so on. Wave after wave after wave. This is what creates Canada. Canada is a mix of culture. Now, there's no such a thing as a Canadian culture, but yes, there is, because people, especially in the States, they will say, oh, Canadians are like this. Now, there's no such a thing as Canadian like this, because I'm Canadian and I'm certainly not the way to describe. I don't go A every 3 words. I'm Canadian A, something like this. And I have a funny accent for them. I don't speak English like the people from Toronto, or I don't speak English like the people from New York. I speak my own English, which should be palatable, I guess, for all of you. But it's distinct. It was all created by my upbringing, the influence of my grandfather and grandmothers, both of them, both sides. They teach me values, family values. My parents did, but my parents divorced when I was 4.5. So when I was a kid in school, I was the only kid in my class from divorced parents. Nowadays, if I would be with my same parents in class, I would be the only kid in class with non-divorced parents. It's the whole society change. I'm kidding a little bit, but when I was young, there was no divorce. The church did not allow it, right? So if you wanted a divorce, you'd have to be progressive, ready for change, and going against the wisdom of the group or something like this, against the local culture in place, right? Again, no judgment, right or wrong. That's not the point. I'm not saying my parents were right or wrong, they just divorced, right? But I remember being in class at the 4th grade, and I realized that all the kids in my class were saying, mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy, and I was saying my aunt, ma tante, mon oncle, instead of my father, because I was raised with my aunt. She raised me. So she became the mother. My mother wasn't there, she went away. So I realized that there was something different. Again, nothing wrong, nothing right, that's not the point. It modified my sense of values, family values. Now, if you're born in Ukraine, if you're born in Greece, if you're born in Italy, if you're born in China, your family values are way different than mine, right? Your sense of belonging to a group, to a nation, to a tribe, to a family is way different than mine. If you are Senegalese, there's no Senegalese here, so I can't say anything. Nobody will tell me I'm wrong. If you're Senegalese, again, no wrong or right. A man can have 4 women, 4 wives, okay, with families, as long as you can support them. This means that when you're raised with your half brothers and sisters, or call them the way you want, but they're your brothers and sisters. They're not half, they're brothers and sisters. So each wife has 4, 8 kids. So it's, you got 25 brothers and sisters, whatever. And it's create a sense of family. And the family will always be there for the member of the family. It's a very powerful cell. If you belong to a particular village, the whole village is your family. Me, Quebec City is my village, but nobody in Quebec City is gonna take me in and feed me because I need food. They won't do that. If I'm part of a village in Senegal, if I go back to my village, I will be fed and I will have a place to sleep. I will not sleep on the street, okay? Again, I'm not making judgment who's right or wrong. That's not the point, okay? Here, we have people on the streets. They are homeless because they have no village for whatever reason, whether it's mental illness, drug abuse, whatever. That's not the point. The values that we have is different. We, here in our society, whole people, we've seen the pandemic and what effect it had on people in hospitals, in old age homes. We don't keep our old people. When they're old, we place them, right? And then we go and visit for Easter, for Christmas, and maybe once during the summer holiday. I'm teasing, but half teasing. In other culture, in China, for example, well, the parents, They sweat blood and tears to send you to university. So you become somebody. So you earn good money. So you take care of us, the parents. So when these parents grow old, the younger ones will take them in and will take care of them until they die. Okay? Normally, as a society, we don't have that here. Again, and I repeat that ad nauseum today, there's nothing right or wrong. It's just different. I'm not saying one system is better than the other, but I would rather have my kids take care of me in my home until the day I die than being put in the CHSLD here where nobody visits me, and you hear now all these horror stories of people that we place there. But that's not the point of the discussion. It's a point that our culture put us there. And for us, that's the way it is, right? And we believe this is the way it should be. Or we're busy, we got careers, we have families, we move abroad. I live in Spain. My mother is in BC. She's old. Well, I'm not going to go to BC and take care of her, and I cannot take her to Spain because I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm saying values. If I would be Jewish, Orthodox Jew, right? My parents would never go in an old age home. Never. I would keep them home until they die. Okay? And they would at home. They would have every weekend, the grandkids would be there. They would be around grandpa and grandma to the point where grandpa would say, oh, leave me alone, you're making too much noise. But he would be there. Okay? That's culture. The music you listen to, the music you discover, the music I discovered when I was young, vinyl LPs, right? Or 45 RPMs, smaller ones, right? Today, what do I use? Spotify, right? That's what I use, right? I don't buy music anymore. I listen to a variety of music I couldn't have before because I bought the record and I played so much, maybe the needle goes through because I use it so much, right? But I'm listening to the same music all the time. I remember buying Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. I listened to that one summer, you know, one side, the other, one side, the other, all summer long. I know it by heart. I can sing to you phase A, phase B, in order, in disorder, every word. I know it by heart. Nowadays, I don't do this. I select a topic in there and I go, you know, and I listen to a variety of music. I'm enhancing my culture. So the culture that my kids have is way different than mine, even if I try to not to force them on my culture, but you know, the way I cook food, my father cooked. My father teach me how to cook. I love to cook. I'm trying to teach my kids to cook. My eldest son cooks. My second one has problem doing craft dinners. And my daughter cooks great cakes. You know, it's all different. But this is the culture I try to bring them. The love of food, the love of well-prepared food, the way of doing crispy cauliflowers, whatever, something like this, instead of canned goods, frozen, thawed, microwave, whatever, something like this. I'm trying to enhance the value. Sometimes Spotify is work in the car, and I'm listening to some music, and my daughter will say, Dad, you're listening to this? You can't, you're too old. I think it's funny. It's a breach in the culture gap. Okay, you are another generation. You're millennials, right? I'm a real boomer. See a boomer? That's one of them. I'm one. Okay. I have old motorcycles. I have old Honda 1100 1985. You were not born. This is what I drive on the weekends. I'm a real boomer, right? You're millennials. We have a little difficulty sometimes to fix each other because we have different cultural background. You're more sensitive to many issues that we're not that sensitive because we were not raised with that sensitivity. That doesn't make us insensitive. It makes us raised in a different way. So stop blaming us, the boomers, for everything. It's part of the culture that we were raised in a different world than yours. my upbringing culture is not the same as yours. So in the culture, there is influence of the family, influence of the religion, influence of the village, the place where you were born and raised, influence of school, friends, your education, influence of the media. When I was a kid, black and white TV, you older, internet, iPhone, iPads, whatever tablets you use, whether it's Android or whatever iOS system, these type of things. This will all influence who you are today, okay? This is what culture is. So me being raised in Quebec City in the 60s, you raised in Montreal in the 2010s, 2010. It's same French-speaking Canadians, Quebecers, whatever, okay? Different influence, different results. Now, your perception of the world, you believe is better than mine, I understand that, and I believe mine is better than yours, you should understand that, but mine is no better than yours, it's just way different. So now, we're all here in the same level. Now, imagine if we have this discussion with our French friends, Clément, for example, and Thibault, and Christopher, who are in France, right? And we ask them about their culture. They will explain to you, and we'll have an exercise next week. We're starting on something like this, where we'll have a game between UK and France. And you will see these elements of culture rising up. Because maybe we're all French born and raised, but being raised in Paris, being raised in outside of Paris in France, north, south, east, west, industrial, mountain, sea, or Mediterranean, makes a total different type of culture mix. Now, if you've been raised in the cities with immigration from North Africa or Western Africa, it makes a whole mix of different things. But they're French. And we'll see in one of the interviews we're going to have with that African that will come and visit you. He was raised in the cities in Paris. He got a degree and he works in large companies and he traveled the world. I told you about this. And when he worked with French companies, sometimes he was working at the HR level in a large firm that organized shows au Stade de France, for example. And when people see him, they thought he was a security guard, you know, big black guy. They say, hey, where's the bathroom? The guy's a VP. Okay, something like this. So the way we perceive the people, the way we've been raised, we react in certain manners. Now, we have to be sensitive to this because it will influence our managing practices. Let's go back to my diaporama quickly. All right, so we have to understand one thing. This is the iceberg model. It's popular in that type of topic, okay? The only thing that we see is the tip of the iceberg, what's out there, okay? It's the first perception, behavior, the way you react quickly. So if we were in a classroom, okay, and you got two guys from Chile, they would sit together. The French in the class would be sitting together for whatever reason. The Chinese with the Chinese, and they would be separate from the Japanese or the Taiwanese. They would be sitting in different places, not together, okay? They would know. The Koreans, they would be separate. So you had 4 or 5 Koreans here, 2 or 3 Chinese there, 2 Taiwanese there. The Japanese would be alone in his corner, something like this. It would be, and then you see this, if you're aware of this, you see a behavioral pattern. And if you're aware with over the years, you will understand how each of these patterns would first react. So when we do the exercise of the class, who's there for whatever reason, when we would arrive at the Asian women born and raised in a Chinese culture or Korean culture or Taiwanese culture, and I ask them, why are you here? They would utter 2 words looking down, okay? If I ask at the first class their opinion, they would not give it because it's not their proper place. Now, we're not making judgment who's right or wrong. That has nothing to do. Now, exercise I would do in class over the course of the weeks is I would try to make them start express and talk, okay? Not to be rude, but to make them emerge from that behavioral culture they were trained with and experiment something different. Now that it's allowed, because they're in another, I could not do that in a school in China. It would not work. The director would run in my class and say, what the hell do you think you're doing? Okay? Here I can do that. Online, it's a bit more difficult to adjust it. So behavior are the observable actions, eye contact, what people wear, do, and say. So the way, this is why it's so important for me to look at you, okay? The way you are, your surrounding. See me, I cheat. I get the little image in the back. But Guillaume is in his bedroom. There was one of you in a coffee shop earlier. Yeah, Laurence is in a coffee shop, right? Something like this. So Laurence is homeless. She has no place to go. And she lives in cafes, right? Guillaume is locked in his room by his father and mother. They want him to study, so they won't let him go out only for food, take a shower, and lock him back in, so he would study and get good grades. I'm joking. This is not serious. But it's behavioral pattern, right? Now, professionally, in the past few months, many of our discussion meetings are done like this. And we had the meeting with VPs or CEOs of company. The guy's in his bedroom, the bed is not made. Wow. How about a green screen? No, but I'm saying, okay? Culture. See, this is important for me because it gives you a sense of professionalism. Look, this is what we're studying, cross-cultural management. Man, the guy is organized, no? It's not true, I'm an artist. I just made it up a few minutes. See, it all tickles you in a different way, the way you see this. But I do this on purpose, right? I could be in my bedroom. What do you care, right? Now, below the surface, there's all kinds of different stuff that you haven't seen yet, which won't come out in the first meeting. It will come out afterwards. Opinions, hence my referral to the Chinese female students, okay, who would not voice opinion. Superiority over others, okay? I was born and raised in a blue blood family in Paris. You're from where? Haha, okay, something like this. Beliefs. Comes with maybe religion. I'm a Jewish Orthodox, okay? I have a sense of value which does not include yours. Now, I'm not saying right, wrong. I'm saying openness of mind, what's below the surface. Now, they're great people everywhere, but we have to understand how different it is to be able to handle the situation around people in a more performing manner for us as managers. This is the important part. So beliefs, vegetarianism, socialisms, openness to LGBTs, to race, colors, religion, whatever. My father was a military, I'm a military son. It's not true. So I have, I've been raised in a military environment, so I see the world something like this, right? My respect for society, for justice, values, environment, preservation of nature, preservation of human beings, of human rights, all these type of things. It does not come up with the first time we meet, okay? It will come up as we discuss week after week. Something will emerge from Clément, something will emerge from Tristan, something will emerge from Tamara, and you'll be surprised sometimes what Tamara has to say. You say, oh, really? Oh, I never thought of this. Now, that doesn't mean Tamara's right. That means Tamara sees it in a different light, right? Because of the culture that she has. She has a mix of French Canadian and Caribbean in her family. So her sense of, I don't know, different aspect can be tainted by this. Tainted is not a negative word, right? Now, I don't know, Tamara, about Friday. Do I mean this Friday or maybe a Friday this week or this month or this year? I'm just joking. But the sense of belonging also to a group is important. When you go to Jamaica, they don't see you as a Jamaican. They see you as a Canadian. You know, you got clear skin, and you probably don't have the accent. I used to have a very strong Jamaican accent. You would be surprised. Years ago, you know, after living there for 1 year, they would think I would be a white Jamaican. I would go, see, it's surprising how immersed I can become. When I was there, the local flights inside the country, there was two prices. There was prices for the locals and prices for the tourists. So on the board, it would be the prices for the tourists. So if you go to the airport and I say, I'm in Kingston, I want to fly to Ocho Rios, they would say, whatever, 100, whatever, okay? Now, if I would go there, I had a driver's license, Jamaican driver's license, and I would speak Jamaican, and I would say, I want my plane ticket for Ocho Rios, I would pay $70 instead of 100, because they thought, at the beginning, they didn't think about this. You know, for me, it was 100 and more, something like this. So if I adapt in a culture, I gain. I'm not just taking dollars, but gain access, gain notability, gain better performance of my team. So culture is not a static thing. It evolves. It will evolve. So you have the chance, all of you, younger people, that you've already traveled a lot. Now, traveling, backpack, going from one country to the other during summertime, going from one music festival to the other is a fun thing because you meet people from all over the place, you discover food, culture, new friends from all over the place. You open your mind to this difference. Now, if you've been born and raised in Drummondville, which is an hour away from Montreal, and you never travel, well, you have a Drummondville mentality. There's nothing wrong with the Drummondville mentality. French-speaking Drummondville, there's nothing wrong with this. But let's say it's less open to a variety of culture. And if I ask you to manage a multicultural team, you're going to have difficulties. So again, quickly, there's different type of cultures to consider. National culture, right? I'm Canadian, I'm French Canadian, you're French, you're Jamaican, you're Greek, you're Egyptians, you're Ukrainian, or you're a mix of all this. So it's mostly acquired during childhood, right? And this is your root, it's there. So you were brought up and raised from year 0 to year, when you start traveling and you were start to be exposed to new cultures. That would be middle of high school or something like that. That's where you would start. Before that, you don't travel very far. You travel with your parents. Most of the case, it's someplace where they can drive to. So you go to Lac Saint-Jean, Gaspésie, whatever. I'm teasing, but you understand the thing. And you're with your parents, so they protect you somehow, somewhere. So you're not really exposed to any of this. When you're becoming 18, 19, 20, you get a backpack and you fly to Thailand or Laos by yourself with a good friend of yours, you discover something new. This is, you're opening yourself to a new culture. There's an organizational culture. In terms of organizations, every enterprise has its own set of rules and setup. We'll discover this type of thing. And there's a gender culture, being a man, being a woman, or whatever in between all of this will make a difference. In some places more than others, right? In Saudi Arabia, there are no gays. It does not exist. Ask them, they'll tell you. It's not true. It does exist. But they will tell you, if you ask somebody from Saudi, there are no gays in Saudi Arabia. It does not exist. We don't have that. I lived in Tunisia for a long time. It's not a subject of discussion. People don't talk about it. Okay, they don't want it to exist. So if for you're LGBT or whatever, and you're stuck in this type of culture, it's difficult for you. And I've seen people I work with, you could tell, right? And you could tell how difficult it is because people make assumptions, judge, categorize, and then treat you as what they categorize you with. In Tunisia, for example, usually dark hair, brown hair, black hair, right? A woman who dye her hair blonde is not well considered, okay? Not at all. So they would refer to her as the blonde, okay? With this face, the blonde, okay? Not la belle blonde, the blonde, okay? La blonde, right? Something like this. So you understand there's a gap in that culture regarding this. They're not comfortable. They think she's maybe of a less low value. She does not adhere to the local culture. What does she have to change? What she's looking at? Something like that. I don't know. But you have to be sensitive to this. So in my team in Tunisia, I have a blonde woman. And I know wherever we go, I got 3 guys and a blonde woman. When we go places, people react. Why have I chosen this person? Because she's good at what she does. She's very good. But many places I go, they go, oh, the blonde. Something like this. But she performs. Now, it would be easier for me to get somebody with maybe the same type of quality with brown hair, because I would not create this reaction. See if I care or not, it creates sometimes a little bit of problem because they would say, they would ask me, why is she there? Okay, now we're not going to go deep into that topic, but gender, the perception of gender, all this would make different reactions. Okay, so culture derived from social environment, United States. We are raised with individualism, hence their grandparents in the old age home. In China, children learn to depend on family members and acquire value based on Confucianism. Confucius. Hence the grandparents at home. It's a different, we'll see this in our Chinese guest, the lawyer, the woman from China, will talk to us about these perceptions and explain to us why it's done in such a way and why it's so present over there. But it will create something different. I use that to relate to the old age person in old age home because it's a topic of this pandemic, right? So you're all somehow aware of this situation. One other aspect, and I mentioned it before, is the communication that we use, right? Communication does transform our culture. So these tools, internet, Zooming, access. One of you said, I don't travel really yet, but I'm interested to travel. I go to internet, I visit different countries, and that gives me the taste to go. But he hasn't immersed himself in a culture, being in a village north of Laos, and eating the fish locally prepared by the people over there that make you taste the food. It's you cannot experiment that with a screen. You know, you have to go there and maybe sleep in a real home of a family in a village, and living the way they do for a couple of days will show you what it is, and you'll be maybe shocked at the bathroom, pleased by the food, and maybe surprised at the quality of the tea that you drink and the nature and whatever. The way that the people, the police reacts on the road and the roadblocks. Oh, Jamaica was a surprise. Police roadblocks. I don't know how it is today. but in those years, there was roadblocks. It was something. Okay, so methods of communication will change, influence what it is. Culture is also passed from generation to generation. I explained to you that my father cooked. My father taught me how to cook. I was 8 years old. I would be standing on the chair next to my father in the kitchen. He would prepare the meal and would show me how to spice the food. Now, I don't necessarily agree or disagree with my father. He says, I'll show you how to spice the food. He says, you take one spice jar, you open it. If it smells good with what you're doing, you put it. So it doesn't follow the rules. You become creative. You come assemble. Oh, this should be okay. So I learned how to cook like this. Now, if I look at the recipe in a recipe book, my wife, she takes a recipe. She would look at the ingredient. She would go to the shop. She would buy the ingredient, and she would go a teaspoon of this, a tablespoon of that, and and she would measure everything. Me, I would look at the recipe in the book. I would say, oh, that could be interesting. Then I would go into the fridge and I would change the products. I would change the spice, and I would create something different. I'm a creative person. She's more following the guidelines and the rule. It's okay. We made a good mix. She follows the guideline. I don't. So together, we're a good bound. So we're two different influence in terms of culture for the family, for our kids. Okay? That's I'm trying to convey some image for you to understand that it's not a set of rules in concrete. It doesn't work into a board like you use in a accounting classes. It doesn't work this way. We'll experiment models. Models try to put that in cases. It doesn't work in cases. Okay? Culture is passed from generation to generation. And even my kids today, they're bringing home what they learn in school. Now in Montreal, in their school, they're influenced by North Africa, Haiti, the rap culture, what God knows, all kinds of stuff. They bring words to the table, and sometimes they do it on purpose. They will teach us the word that they learn in school, so we become clever with the language, and they have fun doing this. So they're sharing their youth culture with us, the boomers, right? So we sometimes we're the mentors, and sometimes we're the one being taught by the kids. So it's a share of culture together. Each nation, and I'll probably finish with this, now I have a video or two for you. Each nation define themselves as the center of the world. So if I see a map like this, is the map I've been raised with. And normally the center of the map is something like this. Let me see if I can write. Can I do this? Hold on. Stylet. So the center, hold on, too fast. Give me a second. Stylet, there you go. So the center of this map made by people from the north. This is the center of the map, right? North America and Western Europe. That's the center of the world in these maps. That's not the center of the world. It's not it. How could it be the center of the world? It's the way you put the map. If you look at the same map made by a Japanese firm, look where the center is. I'm not making this up. In the Japanese geographical book, this is the world map. It's different. Now, you see how small is Africa. But in reality, the size of Africa is like this. It's bigger than Canada, way bigger. It's the second largest continent. Okay, I'm not saying we're right or wrong. I'm just saying it's all a question of perception. Okay, now there's about a half an hour left. We'll come back to that topic a little bit more next week. What I'm going to do, to put it on a light manner, I'm going to make you view a video, comedian, I think he's in Qatar, in Doha, and he will emphasize a little bit on this with you. Let me find that video. Hold on. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, there you go. Give me a second. So it will change. Hold on. It's important for me to change the pace on a regular basis. I speak too much. It works better in class, but online, I don't want you to fall asleep, get bored, or start shopping for high-heel shoes in New York while you pretend to listening to me. That's one of the reasons I want to look at you. When I see that you're going like this, you know, I usually try to change and bring you to something different, okay? So let me show you this video, then a short discussion on this before we finish the day. Share computer sound, optimize sharing for video clip. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Let me get rid of this and this. And start from the beginning. Can you hear this? Did you come?
Hello, Doha. Hello. Salam alaikum. I love coming to Doha. It's such an international place. This is like, it feels like the United Nations just here. You land at the airport and you're welcomed by an Indian lady who takes you to the Al-Maha services where you meet a Filipino lady who hands you off to a South African lady who then takes you to a Korean, who takes you to a Pakistani guy with the luggage, who takes you to the car with a Sri Lankan. You go to the hotel, you check in, there's a Lebanese. Yeah, and then a Swedish guy showed me my room. I said, where are the Qataris? They said, no, it's too hot. They come out later. They're smart. They know. And of course, it's growing so fast. Sometimes there's growing pains, you know. Like sometimes you run into people that you think know the city well, but they don't know it that well. My Indian cab driver showed up at the W, and I asked him to take me to the Sheraton, and he said, no problem, sir. And then we sat there for 2 minutes. I said, what's wrong? He said, one problem, sir. I said, what? He goes, where is it? I go, you're the driver, you should know. He goes, no, I just arrived, sir. I go, you just arrived at the W. No, I just arrived in Doha, sir. I was on my way home from the airport, I got a job. I'm working already. He goes, sir, why don't you drive? I go, I don't know where we're going. Neither do I. It will be an adventure, sir. It is an adventure. The Middle East has been an adventure the past couple years. Middle East is going crazy with the Arab Spring and revolution and all this. Are there any Lebanese here tonight? Any Lebanese? By applause? Lebanese? Yeah, the Middle East is going crazy. You know the Middle East is going crazy when Lebanon is the most peaceful place in the region. Who would have thought? Oh my gosh. No, there's serious issues in the region. Some people don't want to talk about them. I'm here to talk about them tonight. Ladies and gentlemen of the Middle East, here's a serious issue. When we see each other, when we say hello, how many kisses are we going to do? Every country is different and it's confusing, okay? In Lebanon, they do 3. In Egypt, they do 2. I was in Lebanon, I got used to 3. I went to Egypt, I went to say hello to this one Egyptian guy. I went 1, 2, I went for 3, he wasn't into it. I told him, I said, no, I was just in Lebanon. He goes, I don't care where you are. You stay where you are, please. You stay where you are. Habibi, stay. I went to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, they go 1, 2, and then they stay on the same side. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Next time you see a Saudi, look closer. They're just a little bit tilted. Abdullah, you okay? Yeah, I was saying hello for half an hour. I'm gonna be all right. Qataris, you guys do the nose to nose. Why is that? Are you too tired to go all the way around? Habibi, it's so hot. Just come here for a second. Say hello. Hello, Habibi. Just don't move. Just stay there, please. I need to rest. Every country, Iranians, sometimes we do 2, sometimes we do 3. A friend of mine explained to me, before the 79 revolution, it was 2. After the revolution, 3. So with Iranians, you can tell whose side the person's on based on the number of kisses they give you. Yeah, if you go 1, 2, 3, I can't believe you support this regime. With your 3 kisses. But no, guys, really, it is exciting to be here. And like I said, you guys are doing a lot culturally, you know, and it's amazing. And it helps change the image of the Middle East in the West. Like a lot of Americans don't know a lot about us, about the Middle East. I'm Iranian and American. I'm there. I know that you know, I've traveled here. There's so much. We laugh, right? People don't know we laugh. When I did the Axis Evil comedy tour, it came out on Comedy Central. I went online to see what people were saying about it. I ended up on a conservative website. One guy wrote another guy, said, I never knew these people laughed. Think about it. You never see us laughing in American film or television, right? Maybe like an evil, like, whoa, whoa. I will kill you in the name of Allah. Whoa. But never like, ha, 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 ha. We like to laugh. We like to celebrate life. And I wish more Americans would travel here. I always encourage my friends to travel, see the Middle East. There's so much to see, so many good people. And it's vice versa. And it helps stop problems of misunderstanding and stereotypes of happening. For example, I don't know if you heard about this. A little while ago in the US, there was a Muslim family walking down the aisle of an airplane, talking about the safest place to sit on the plane. Some passengers overheard them, somehow misconstrued that as terrorist talk, got them kicked off the plane. It was a family, mother, father, child, walking down the aisle, talking about the city. Now, as a Middle Eastern male, I know there's certain things I'm not supposed to say on an airplane in the US, right? Not supposed to be like walking down the aisle and be like, hi, Jack. You know, that's not cool. Even if I'm there with my friend named Jack, I say, greetings, Jack, salutations, Jack. Never hi, Jack. But now apparently we can't even talk about the safest place to sit on an airplane. So my advice to all my Middle Eastern friends and Muslim friends and anyone who looks Middle Eastern or Muslim, so to, you know, Indians and the Latinos, everyone, if you're brown, here's my advice to my brown friends. The next time you're on an airplane in the US, just speak your mother tongue. That way no one knows what you're saying, life goes on. Granted, some mother tongues might sound a little threatening to the average American, right? If you're walking down the aisle speaking Arabic, you know, you might freak them out. You know, if you're walking, they might say, what's he talking about? So the key to my Arab brothers and sisters, you got to throw in random good words to put people at ease as you're walking down the aisle. Just as you're walking down. Strawberry. Rainbow. Tutti frutti. I think he's going to hijack the plane with some ice cream. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you, Ted.
Oof, oof. You're a bit focused. Right. Well, this maybe it's the first time. We'll finish a bit early. You'll see that I'm very strong on having 3-hour classes, you know, from 2 to 5, 5:05 on purpose. See, culture-wise, if you can't stand to go overboard 5 minutes. I put a little note of humor at the end for you to understand that we'll have fun while doing this, okay? This is a fun course. I insist on the fact that I want your cameras to be on. I want to be able to look at you. I will be present at every class. We'll be doing stuff together in the class. This is not a series of video capsules for you to watch, something to read, a little report to do. It's nothing such. We're going to work together in order to understand what culture is, what's our culture, what's other culture, to become more aware and more sensitive on the fact there is a multitude of cultures that we're in. None is better than the other. This is very important. It's way different. Now, as a manager, I have to be able to foresee the situation I'm in order to be able to manage my team in a better way. So first of all, we'll raise our consciousness understanding. One of the reasons I went from all of you at the beginning, where are you from? Did you travel? Oh, you went to Egypt a few times with your girlfriend. Girlfriend brought you to the family. You're fiancé. You're not fiancé yet. I'm surprised. No, but we'll get back at you, Guillaume, on this. You know, and we want to meet your girlfriend too, right? The main idea here is I want to raise open your eyes that you see this with more light, and then we'll be able to build on this and create some strategies that are workable for you today. And my promise to you is at the end of this class, which is there's work to be done. It's not hard. You're going to have good results. I assure you, you're going to have good results, okay? If you work, right? If you follow me, if you're present every week, because what we're discussing in class, what's in the book, is not necessarily what will be the questions at the exam, okay? We'll come back to that later on. Your presence is important because we'll experiment together. We'll have fun. We'll create some situation. Starting from next week, we'll create something, all right? So I want you to be willing to experiment starting from next week, from your own culture to others. And this is what we'll do. So next week, we're going to pursue on that what is culture, a little bit deeper, right? And then we'll start with a case study that works over 2 weeks. We're going to put it in place. I'm going to work on this. And then the following week, each group is going to report on it. Then we'll have plenty of discussion on this based on understanding what culture is all about. Now, your first understanding of that case study will be partial because you have little knowledge, right? And we'll come back to that case study week after week. We'll go back to that example because we'll be able to add more to it and we'll understand the roots of all this and why it happened in such a way, all right? So I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions, okay, before we go, we saw this video there with Maza Jobrani, which is a well-known figure in certain part of the world. I would like from you people, at least 3, your point of view on the way he brought the topic of culture. Volunteers. Otherwise, I will ask somebody. Open your microphone and speak up.
It was quite casual. He brought it up, and like I felt like you could tell there was many conservative people, not conservative, but very traditionally cultured people as his audience, and he brought the topic like it was just casual, like, oh yeah, you guys are from Qatar, or like, yeah, you Qatarians, and like other people. So he talked about culture like it was already multicultural, where it was like kind of not the case in the audience, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Do you think that such a delivery in Houston would have received the same type of applause?
In Houston, Texas, this guy probably wouldn't have showed up at that
and
place.
Why not?
Because in Houston, Texas is like white conservative people with guns, probably. Well, that's at least that's what I see it.
And they buy oil from Qataris too.
Maybe they don't know that for sure.
They do business with them too. You'd be surprised. I didn't select Texas for nothing, but because of the petrol business. Thank you, Guillaume. Somebody else, a point of view on that video?
Yes. Can you see me? Yeah. I think the way you bring the topics with humor make everything like the humor break the ice. Like if he had the same speech but seriously, it would have been misunderstanding. But the humor make everything going well. It break the ice. People laugh, and so I think because it's funny, it's make sense. Like I don't know if you understand what I mean, but
Yeah, thank you. See, I had the choice between an Canadian-Iranian professor who explained this in a professor way, and him. And I think the message is as potent as one or the other. The professor takes 17 minutes to deliver this, while our friend Maz does it in 7 minutes. Somebody else? One more about the video?
I think that what's really interesting is that he takes something that's very basic, very subtle, like the kisses on the cheek from one culture to another, and he doesn't use a topic that's really like heavy, and he just shows that everybody's different, but it's okay, and that's what part of having different cultures is all about. So I find that that's a very interesting thing.
Yeah, subtlety will be an important part of what we're going to learn, you know, with all this, not necessarily being blunt. Now, last exercise before we go. I need, again, 3 volunteers. I would like you tell me, short, what do you take home from today? What's the main thing that struck you today? Everybody could talk if you want, 3 is the minimum. But I want you to understand what is the most important part you understood today? Ange?
That we're all different, but that doesn't make it difficult to talk with each other. It makes the conversation even more interesting because we have different point of view and different story to tell about where we're from and come from.
Thank you. Ariane, what do you take home?
I take home that like understanding different cultures doesn't mean that you have to say this one's better than the other one, and like, yeah.
Thank you. Thibault, what do you take home? Microphone. Thibault, what do you take home?
Yeah, sorry. I think it was very interesting overall, but the part of with we talked about your Charlemagne blood. I think that was very interesting. Like your culture is like from far away, come from France.
Yes.
And like even if you're in Canada, we are something in common, maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that was interesting.
We're close cousin.
Yeah, maybe.
Tom, what do you take home?
I think even if we're all different, no one is there is no right or wrong way to be, and every culture has some particularities, but can teach something to other cultures, and the problem is not the difference, but the way you understand the other cultures.
Thank you. I'm going to take one who's not available with the picture. Is Amanda willing to tell us what she's taking home from today?
Yes, today's was very interesting. I take home that no, not because my culture is different from yours, that means yours is a culture which is lost. We are all different, and the culture depends on the group where I grown up.
Thank you. There's somebody who did not introduce himself earlier. There's a Marcus Cadas who's there. Marcus, are you able to speak? Is your microphone working, or are you just your name there and you're somewhere else? Okay, I'll make a note. I'll finish with one more person. Tamara, what do you take home from today? Zoom can be very simple. You can press normally here and that turns on the microphone. Not you. Okay. Difficult? Okay, so I'll switch to Marguerite. Marguerite, just what you take home?
I take home that we have different culture and that many things influence our culture. Like we are a word, but I think that every culture has something in common. And like if you live in France and if you live in Canada, there is differencing, but there is also something in common. And yeah.
Thank you. Guillaume added this, and you probably saw it in the chat. If you read the chat, if your chat is open, he would also like to add how important it is to understand our own bias, to understand how our culture affects how we interact with others. We'll come back to more details about this, Guillaume, for sure, because it's an important point of things. What I try to do today is to make you understand there's no right or wrong. But obviously, you know, the way we were brought up and the culture that we have, we see sometimes this one or those ones with a bias in our eyes, and then we tend to be generalized and say, oh, these people are like this, something like this. Huh? The Jamaicans don't know which Friday we're talking about. It's not true. But then again, yes, Guillaume.
Does this have to do with how ethnocentricity affects us?
It does, but basically it's also from youth. You were raised with some belief that were put in you by your parents, your father, your grandfather. Let's say, let's try me explain that in a nice manner. When there was a wave of the boat people, that would be the mid-70s, okay? Vietnamese people flew away from Vietnam, people with education. They went into the refugee camps and many of them immigrated to Canada. Very often they were doctors, dentists, but there are no equivalent teachers. They had no equivalent in their papers, so they had to wash dishes, okay? But they're hard workers, so they get together, they wash dishes, they rent a restaurant, they buy a restaurant, they buy the building, they send the kids to medical school, dentistry school, economic school, whatever. The kids get raised, the grandmother's there, the parent, because they brought the grandmother too, the parents are there, but the grandmother does only speaks Vietnamese. She doesn't speak French. The parent speaks Vietnamese and some French. The kids speak French before Vietnamese. And Vietnamese, right? And English. These kids could not bring home a white French Canadian as a friend, okay? They could not, because the grandmother would not tolerate it, you know? They would say, ugh, how could you do this? Maybe you shouldn't go, ugh, but you understand what I'm trying to convey. Now, the following generation, okay? You were, and the one before you, were able to bring their local French Canadian boyfriend, girlfriend home, and it would be accepted. It took almost 4 generations in order to be able to go there, to go over that bias, okay? Because for the grandmother, the invader was white, okay? Now, we're not saying she's right or wrong, that's not the point, but she suffered from the white invader. Okay, so how can her granddaughter bring home a white boyfriend, a Christian boyfriend on top of this? Okay, it doesn't make makes sense, but that's the belief of the grandmother, okay? And it's put inside the family. That creates a lot of bias. So we talked about Texas earlier, saying they would not be tolerant to this. You'd be surprised, but it depends where you go. Maybe Houston, it would work. Maybe in a small remote town, they would shoot him, okay? But then again, I'm making this up. It's totally out of topic. But bias are there, and we'll explore them more in detail. Thank you very much, Guillaume. Thank you, all of you. I wish you a very good week. I'll prepare some material for you on Sunday, so it should be online for you on Monday. Enjoy.
I have a question.
Any questions, you can write me. All right?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Louis Philippe.
I've seen the recording symbol all the way from the beginning. I was wondering if you put the videos online on Moodle afterwards, or
normally no.
Let's say we miss a course. Can we? Is there a way to watch the recording sometime?
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm gonna miss some course, but let's say.
I record everything and I put it aside. But I don't make it available because I want you to be here and not say, well, I feel a little tired today. I'll watch it on Sunday. I don't want this because we have to exchange together. So it's recorded, it's available. If you miss and you have a good reason and you plead with me and you're nice and you're generous and you cook for me, then I'm kidding, understand me. Don't take me word for word, okay? Yes, I'll make it available.
All right.
But it's not an habit that it will be there every week, so you don't have to come to class and listen to this. This is not the idea. It doesn't work this way. So yes, I record it. Yes, I put it aside.
All right.
And when you ask me, you better have a good reason.
I will try to be there every course.
No, but
Won't have any reason.
The fun of such a class, okay, is that we're all there and we discuss, we talk. We start a little bit today, but next week, I'm going to involve you. In the following week, you'll be too loud, okay? This is not a pre-recorded class that you just, no, far from it. We're gonna be as close as we can from my classroom, and believe me, my classroom are lively, so I have to make the Zoom as lively as possible. So, Louis-Philippe, I count on you.
I'll be there.
All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy your week.
Bye.
Can I ask one last question?
Yes, you can.
Yes.